So it's cold in many parts of the country. It makes people think about baseball season. Yes, AJ is bundled up. AJ, are you excited for spring training? Thinking
Not if it's cold. Not if it's cold, I'm not.
He's at spring training.
Yeah. Have you guys heard about the global phenomenon? Global cooling?
Okay, continue. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Oh, we had some music.
AJ was going to play me some entrance music, but
it was. I
don't know. I'm just saying.
It was. I pulled up the Foul Territory on YouTube, and it was music. I forgot I was watching my son scrimmage, and I had the volume up, so I apologize when I pulled up our YouTube. So
I just don't remember it being this cold in Florida. So global cooling.
No, Sunday's like supposed to be like the coldest day ever in Florida. It's going to be like a high in Orlando of like, or not a high, but it gets down to like 20, which we are not equipped for down here. By the way, if anyone that wants to move from Florida, from anywhere above Florida, north of Florida, it gets really cold down here. So don't do it. Just don't move down here. Okay. It gets really, like in August, it's so hot and the mosquitoes are like this big. These are the mosquitoes flying around this big, like this, and then they land on you. And they're so big, then they attack you. So you don't want to come in the summer, and then the winter is freezing. So don't come here either.
But the mosquitoes don't tax you. They tax you blood instead of money. So if you're okay to give blood and not money, then go to Florida. No state income tax.
Seasons. I'll take my 4 seasons, and I'll visit Florida. I'll enjoy it, and I'll enjoy watching you guys sweat like Jose Alvarado in a drug test.
You have a lot of new options for that. Alvarado, Kepler, Cervelli was the classic, but there are some new ones. Profar gets thrown in there. All right, let's charge.
He's charging the mound.
Hey, there's an article by Chris Kirschner, who covers the Yankees for The Athletic, about the team running back essentially the same roster. And one of the quotes that was picked out in his hype of the story was from Aaron Boone. He said, "I've been openly willing to challenge anybody that we don't have a championship caliber roster and team." Actually, I think some people would probably look at that tweet real quick and be like, wait, the Yankees don't think they have a championship caliber roster and team? No, he's saying, I challenge you if you do not think we have a championship caliber roster and team. Actually, that was Cashman with that quote. But he said, I'm not afraid to run with the talented roster of players that we do have. It's a different year. We're looking for a different result, meaning a little better result. Stay tuned to see where it takes us. You've heard me say many times, it doesn't matter what we say. It matters what we do. All of that is true. AJ, I think I'm pretty vocal on this show about not running the same thing back. I haven't pointed to the Yankees on this one. I've been more on the Phillies over the last few years, and I think I've been right. What do you think about the Yankees running the same team back that got smacked by the Blue Jays in the DS?
It's a little different. They don't have Devin Williams. They don't have Luke Weaver. So there's some difference. They're getting Garrett Cole back. I mean, offensively, it's very similar to that team. But if Garrett Cole comes back, Rodon comes back healthy, they added Ryan Weathers. Can Heal have a good offseason and a full season? They have a full year of Schlittler. Max Fried was great for him last year. I mean, that's not exactly the same team. So I don't know if I totally agree with that. Offensively, yes, so far it is the same team. So we'll see if they can stay healthy and get better in certain places. But I mean, I don't know if this is much ado about nothing for me because they were pretty good last year. They did tie the Blue Jays, for the most wins in the American League East. And so I don't know. I mean, we'll see. A full year of Ben Rice, Caballero, not Volpe at shortstop. Josh Chisholm had a nice year. Can Stanton stay healthy? What does Grisham do? The team wasn't terrible. I don't know. We'll see. It's not a terrible team. I think they're pretty good. They have a chance. All they got to do is get in, right?
Everybody's projections are all based on the numbers that you're able to manipulate, blah, blah, blah. I think weighted runs created is a fair way of evaluating a team's offense. It's one of the ways you can do OPS plus, but it's different when it's a whole team, all that stuff. And that's all we have to go on right now. And they were number 1 in the league last year. There's no reason to say they're going to have a regression this year because Aaron Judge is a year older, Ben Rice is a year older, Stanton's a year old. Like, yes, I get it. Like all those things. Well, did everybody just have a career year? I choose to believe not everybody just had a career year, but Grisham was up. Jazz Chisholm was up. Cody Bellinger had one of his good years again. Does he decline for a year like he's been, like year on, year off kind of thing? No, I think the collection of the entire team together, while they are probably too left-handed, I would say it's probably fine in Yankee Stadium because everyone says, oh, lefties play well in Yankee Stadium. That's whatever. I don't believe that that's necessarily the case. That's great just for lefties. But maybe they're a little susceptible to facing a Red Sox this year with Crochet and Ranger going back-to-back left in 2 games of a series. Like, these are all like specific moments. I still think they are a championship caliber team. They proved it last year. The issue is, can they win in the big moment? Can Judge have the same type of postseason that he had last year? Can somebody else step up in the postseason? Or, as Scott Braun says about the Phillies, are they just a regular season team? That's all you can produce. That's all you can create. You create the best team possible, and people are going to say, well, they strike out too much. If they would have gone out to get a free agent or they would have gone out to trade for somebody, they would have traded for somebody that strikes out and hits home runs. That is where they're making their bed, and it's proven that it creates runs, and that's the point of baseball, to diminish the other team from scoring and to create as many runs as you can possibly create.
But don't you want balance? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Don't you want more
Balance of what?
Less strikeouts, really. Just less
No.
strikeouts. Don't you
You
want
want
more
wins.
of what the team that did to you did?
You want wins. That's it. Can your
Never
team
the
that
team?
biggest
beat you?
problem the Yankees have had with their offense the last few years is they can't manufacture runs. It's home run or nothing. It's home run or strikeout, home run or strikeout. There's not a lot of in between. It's literally been home run or strikeout for the Yankees the last few years. That's why their record in extra innings hasn't been very good, right? But now when they and I'll say this, and I mean this with all the respect in the world, Yankees do a lot of damage off 4/5 starters, and they always have. Listen, all the way back, that was one of the big things when you played the Yankees when I first came up, 2000, 98, 99, 2000, and they had their dynasty going, right? It was, man, we got to keep our A starters in the game and our A relievers because they do a lot of damage. And that's not a knock on them. That's how you make your money in baseball, okay? Is nobody hits the aces, nobody hits the best, right? But the Yankees, what they've run into in the postseason is high strikeout guys and guys that can keep them in the park. And when they've had that, they've run into the problems. Now, would I love them to go out and sign somebody? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. And that's fine. If they think this roster is good enough, go get them, Yankees. I think this roster is good. I don't know that I'm going to say it's a great roster, but they got to figure out a way to cut down on the strikeouts. If you're listen, Anthony Volpe, they've 3 years now. He is what he is. Unless he cuts down on his strikeouts and becomes a different player, that's what he's going to be. He's going to hit you 20. He's going to hit 215, steal some bases when he hits singles. That's it, right? But unless they change, which they're not because they have the same team, they're going to be a high strikeout, high home run, all or nothing kind of team. And that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that in today's game.
We had Alex Call on the other day, and nobody's going to say, well, the Yankees should have picked up Alex Call. No. The conversation we had about was when he went over to the Dodgers. They said, we love how you control the zone. But what's one thing that they want him to work on? When he gets an advantage counts, taking those shots. As a hitter, if you want to come up big in certain situations, and it only takes one situation to come up big that can sway an entire series, you have to be able to have some adjustability. That's where I think the Cody Bellinger signing is a little bit under the radar because we'll talk about it later. Booney's like, oh, yeah, we love his defensive versatility. He's not afraid to cut down his swing. Judge, I think, has made some adjustments. While his strikeout rates have slowly ticked down, he's made some adjustments to be able to put the ball in play, to be able to make contact. But to what detriment that is, nobody has any idea. Obviously, it's not a detriment to Judge, the reigning MVP, but it is something that, as a team, in those big spots, can Jazz Chisholm stop taking the exact same swing path if they don't hit his barrel? Can Trent Grisham cover the outer half of the plate if they never give in and never come in? Because in the playoffs, you're going to face the guys that AJ was saying. You're going to face 1 and 2 in the rotation. Some teams maybe 3, but they're getting them out of there real quick. And then they're going 1, 2, 3 in the bullpen the entire playoffs. So when the Dodgers made the change where they were like, they just couldn't get over the hump. They were getting to the playoffs and they weren't able to make the change. It was a concerted effort, knowing that, you know what, we may have to go out of the zone a little bit in the playoffs. We may have to chase those pitches on the corner, out of the zone, meaning out of their hitting zone, and not just wait for the perfect pitch middle, and they can do damage. And you look at the change that they made. I mean, at the end of the 2024 season, we were like, can the Dodgers get it done? Now we're looking at back-to-back, and I think the Yankees have the talent, not Dodgers talent, but they definitely have the talent to be a championship caliber team.
By the way, Aaron Judge, Scott, led at one point, this was late in the year, he had the most swing and misses in all of Major League Baseball. But his strikeouts have gone down because he walks more, right? But he still swings and misses, but when he hits the ball, he does so much damage. Like, if you have that guy, fine, right? He won a batting title, right? I mean, he hit, 50 homers, whatever he did. He had an unbelievable year, right? He still swings and misses. That's fine. But now what I think, and we noticed it in the postseason, he has the ability now to change his swing a little bit and put the ball in play, which is what you need. Listen, it's fine to have homer, but you got to have what you said about Cody Bellinger, Kratz, a guy that can manipulate his swing and his path. And when you need to, hey, I got to put the ball in play here with the runner on 3rd and 1 out. Boom, I hit a ground ball to short, drive in that run, we move on. We got to run.
The beating up on the 4th and 5th starter thing is great. It creates more wins. It's what you should do.
It's what good teams do. It's actually what great teams do. It's what the Dodgers do. Nobody, when you face Tarek Skubal, when you face Paul Skeens, when you face, Garrett Cole at his prime, when you face these number ones, you're like, okay, we need our pitcher to pitch really well because we might get 1, maybe 2 if we're lucky. And if he has a terrible night, we're going to get, 3 or 4, maybe, right? But you need your guy to lock him down. Now, when you face the guys with the 4.5 to 5.5 ERA, those are the guys you got to do damage to. And the good teams do it. They take advantage of, we used to call it the underbelly of a team, right? Those middle relievers that aren't the late guys, but they're not the starters. They're the kind of the underbelly. We used to say, if we can get to the underbelly, we can do damage. Easier said than done, but that's what the great teams do.
And wait, AJ, how do you
there was
get
a but.
How do you get to those? How do you get to the underbelly?
You knock the starters out early usually, and then it also compiles too. You have to understand, like, if you get to the starter early in the series, then they got to go to guys in different times, and then by the time, especially if you're playing a 7-game series, by the time you get to games 3 and 4, yes, I know there's an off day, but guys start wearing down, and we've seen it over the last few years. Guys wear down.
Yeah,
but if you're waiting for your money pitch from an elite starter, it might never happen. And that is the differential. Your regular season numbers might look exceptional because you are beating the crap out of the pitchers that you're supposed to beat up. But it's a very different look when you're facing an elite starter in a postseason game. I'm not saying it's just them. There are many other factors like this with other teams too. But we saw this with Detroit. Pretty swing and miss team. You saw them firsthand, AJ. They were just waiting for a homer for the most part, right? Waiting for their pitch that often never came.
What I say to Hinch at the award show we did last weekend, I was like, because we had him on in winter meetings. I said, "Are you over it yet?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm getting there. We're about to go turn the page at spring training." And I just said, if y'all just could have got one hit, one ball in play, just anywhere in that 15-inning game, you guys move on and play the Blue Jays. But you never. Like, I think at one point they had 1st and 3rd and nobody out, and Baez hit a weak ground ball to 3rd, and the Mariners got out of that inning, right? But if you could have just had anybody 1 through 9, other than Kerry Carpenter in that game, because everybody else was an out, except Kerry Carpenter, who, by the way, owns George Kirby to an extent of, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody own somebody like that. But anybody else in that team, if they just could have put the ball in place somewhere and done anything, small ball, bunt, whatever it takes, I don't know. It could have been a different series. But you know what? The Yankees love their team. And you know what? If you don't go into spring training and say, I love our team, especially a team like the Yankees, then you're doing something wrong. So I give him kudos for saying it.
Yep.
I was thinking the postseason, you need a contact guy, right? I mean, you want contact and slug, but the Blue Jays had a contact guy who went off for almost the entire postseason, right?
Look at the stats. Look at the stats from the Blue Jays lineup compared to the stats from the Dodgers lineup. For the World Series, who won? That's all that matters. Who ended up winning?
Yeah, I'm just saying in prior rounds, it stood out for them. So maybe Luis Arraez signs with the Tigers so they don't run into that problem again. One guy who has flaws. What?
Where's he going to play?
DH.
No. Torkelson.
Okay, fine. Let's move on. Pinstripe Territory covers this all the time. They will talk about the comments from Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone leading up to spring training. Your boy Derek Lewandowski is on it. Let's keep rolling. Adam Jude is joining us. We're going to talk about the Seattle Mariners now. You can follow Adam's coverage in the Seattle Times. Adam, great to have you back on the show. Appreciate the time. And we'll just start nice and simple. How do you grade the offseason right now for Seattle?
Thanks for having me, fellas. Yeah, the Mariners, there's some bubbling frustration, I think, brewing with Mariners fans. I would grade it as a solid B plus for the Mariners, but it does feel a little incomplete. I know the Mariners are still in the market for a proven veteran bat that they'd like to be able to insert either at the top or the middle of the lineup. We can talk about the Brendan Donovan continued rumors here, but yeah, it does feel in some ways incomplete. Mariners have subtracted Jorge Polanco and Gino Suarez from the lineup that was really good and really deep and made it to Game 7 of the ALCS. And so I think some fans here understandably are wondering, okay, what's the plan here? We're right there. This is maybe the best Mariners team they've had here in a generation, and they have reasonable World Series hopes this year. So what are we doing to add one more proven guy here? I'm hearing from a lot of Mariners fans as we get closer and closer to spring training here. Is this the lineup? Is this the team? What's going on? I do know the Mariners are continuing to scour the market and look for one more proven bat. I would be surprised if they don't do something by opening day, if not by the start of spring training. But right now, it's been a solid off season. They struck first with Josh Naylor. That was a big commitment on their part. 5 years, $92.5 million, the biggest free agent contract they've handed out to a hitter since Robbie Cano in 2013. So from the Mariners' perspective, obviously that was their priority. He's their middle of the order presence. He fit in perfectly. Naylor did with his team in this clubhouse, obviously in the second half last year and deep into the playoffs. I think because of the timing of that in mid-November, you have a lot of antsy Mariner fans wondering, okay, now what? But overall, it's been a good offseason, but in some ways it does still feel incomplete.
All right. Only one thing I want to say. They need what? A third baseman? Didn't they go get a guy that people love in Seattle, and he loves Seattle, and he's still sitting on the free agent market named Gino Suarez? Why have there been discussions? Like, that seems like the most perfect, easiest fit of all time.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it really is. And he's still out there. And I think the Mariners have been in contact. He has the same agency as Julio Rodriguez. There's great relationships there between the Mariners and Gino. And to a short-term, probably a one-year deal. Gino is 34 years old. And then when you kind of dive into his numbers, yeah, he had a magical season, 52 home runs, including 3 in the postseason. And his grand slam in Game 5 of the ALCS will go down as one of the biggest swings in Mariners history. Absolutely. And so, yeah, he checks all the boxes, third base. Awesome clubhouse guy. He's been here. He knows what it's like to hit in T-Mobile Park. That said, and part of the Mariners' plan from day one this offseason, they've been really open about this. They have a lot of really young, talented infielders coming up knocking at the door right now. They don't want to block those guys. And specifically, we're talking about Colt Emerson, but they've got Ben Williamson, who played about half the season last year, was sent back down to AAA when they did get Gino Suarez. But Ben Williamson is certainly one of the best defensive third basemen, even as a rookie last year. He proved that. But they want to give those young guys a chance. Then at second base, you got another one in Cole Young, who just turned 22. Is still going to be one of the youngest players in the majors this year. They want to give those guys some runway, and I think that's just part of the economics of Mariner baseball and economics of baseball for teams in the mid-market to smaller market. You've got to find a way to get these young guys some opportunities and some runway, and not to sound like, executive speak, but there's a lot of truth in that too. When you've invested a lot, you've invested first round draft picks, you've invested a lot of time and resources in developing these young guys. At some point, they're showing you, hey, we're ready for a real opportunity. And I think Colt Emerson, first and foremost, top 10 prospect in the sport, has a chance to go win this third base job in spring training. Would not shock me at all if he's the talk of Mariners camp by the time we get into mid-March, in part because the Mariners are losing a ton of guys to the World Baseball Classic. He's going to get a ton of at-bats in spring training to show what he can do. I think he's as mature as any 20-year-old the Mariners have had coming through here since Ken Griffey Jr., frankly, and maybe Alex Rodriguez. And he's that good, he's that mature, he's that advanced. And so I think the Mariners are really curious to see what he is. And if they sign Gino Suarez to a 2-year deal, 3-year deals, he would probably prefer, they feel like they're blocking maybe one of the best prospects in the entire sport.
Or was it the trade deadline last year? Does it feel like, well, I could do a huge commitment to somebody for an entire season, maybe the next 3 seasons? Or look what we picked up at the trade deadline, and Gino Suarez, who had, like you said, the biggest home run in Mariners postseason history. And we picked up Josh Naylor, who stole 100 bases for us in like a month and a half. So did that kind of make them feel like, we'll just wait, we'll just kind of hang around the edges, and then we can make a trade deadline acquisition? Or do they truly think they can replace Jorge Polanco's 136 OPS plus at either second base or third base with one of these young 20-year-old prospects?
It's definitely a little bit of both. I mean, not just this last trade deadline, but you go back even 5 years, 2020 trade deadline, they brought in Andres Munoz and Matt Brash, key pieces of their bullpen still now at the trade deadline. They got Luis Castillo in 22, Randy Arozarena at the trade deadline, and then you add in Naylor and Gino Suarez. I don't think any team in baseball has done more than the Mariners have the last handful of years at the summer trade deadline. And so that's definitely part of the Mariners calculus. It does feel like in some ways that prospects have a little more value in the summer, just because there are maybe a few more teams that recognize they're out of it at that point, and are willing to trade some of their veterans, like Arizona was this last year. But again, at the same time, the Mariners, they've proven they have a pretty good development system, and they got to keep those guys churning. Yep. Again, part of it is the economics of it. These guys are young, they're hungry, they're good, but they're also cheap, and you're going to have them, fit the budget really nicely for the next few years. And obviously that helps too. I think part of calculus, again, is like you just paid Cal Raleigh. You got Julio Rodriguez committed long-term, now Naylor. Some of these young pitchers are starting to get obviously expensive in their arbitration years too. So with the Mariners and what they're willing to do with their payroll commitments, that is all part of the equation as well. And obviously, Gino Suarez was a $15 million player last year. The Mariners got him, for 2 months at $5 million. So pretty big bargain for them. Josh Naylor in the same boat too. So that's certainly part of the calculus for them, and they've proven it too, right? Again, the last handful of years, if they see something that they need, Jerry Dipoto, Justin Hollander, the Mariners front office have shown a willingness to go out and be aggressive, maybe more aggressive than anyone, to fill those needs in the summer.
So, Adam, is this a budget thing, or is this just they believe that much in their prospects? Because listen, everyone on here loves prospects. We love prospects. Yeah, go prospects. Everyone, we have the 17th rated farm system, whatever the Mariners are, and everyone pumps up their farm system. But you know who isn't a prospect? Eugenio Suarez, because he's going to hit you 40, and you know that, and what he's going to be. So listen, I get it. I do get it. I understand that you don't want to block guys, but I also come from the school of, hey, if I have a proven commodity, I'll take the proven commodity. Anyways, I'm off that now. Let's go to something else. The Mariners have a lot of starting pitchers. Would they be willing to trade one of them to get a piece that they need, whether it's a second baseman or a third baseman?
I don't think so. Yeah, they're not at that point. And again, a guy like Brendan Donovan, who they've been in talks with St. Louis throughout the winter. I still think the Mariners are one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to land Donovan here, who certainly feels like he's going to get dealt before the start of the season. The Mariners were willing, I think, the last couple years to at least entertain the idea of moving one of those starting pitchers, Bryce Miller. Brian Woo's name came up a lot a couple years ago. I don't know how close the Mariners were to dealing Brian Woo, but I know he was on the table at one point, and obviously they're certainly glad they didn't. I think he's a top 10 pitcher in all of baseball right now. And Logan Gilbert, George Kirby are coming off an injury-riddled years a little bit. They really settled in late in the season and the postseason too. And then you've got The Rock, Luis Castillo is sort of the steady presence there, the one real veteran guy that they love. But no, that's one of the questions I had asked over and over at the beginning of this offseason. All right, where are we at with the starting rotation? Is it time to move one of those guys to really get that impact bat? And the Mariners were pretty steadfast. It would have to be something wild, something substantial, and just I don't even know what that would look like, frankly, at this stage of the offseason. So no, I would be stunned if they moved one of those five guys right now. That's not to say they won't at some point. They've got two of the best starting pitching prospects too. Sorry, AJ, to keep going back to the prospects, but this is one thing the Mariners have proven they do really well is develop young pitching in the minors. They've got Ryan Sloan, just I think turned 20 years old today. Guy who I'm getting Garrett Cole comps to. He's got the size, the fastball. He's got commands the zone. And then the number 3 pick last year at LSU, Cade Anderson, is already knocking at the door. People are very high on him. So it's a nice problem to have if you're the Mariners. Too much good starting pitching, and at some point, they're going to have to break up with these 5 guys that have been together now a few years. But I think with the Mariners, where they're at right now, they see themselves as the definitive favorites in the AL West. They see themselves as one of the favorites, certainly in the American League. And they're going to lean on that starting pitching again. Again, those guys were banged up a little bit this last year. If they can keep those guys healthy or relatively healthy all season, I think they have pretty high hopes for what they can do together.
This might be your toughest answer you're ever going to have to give, because AJ and I do not believe in spring training stats. What do Mariners fans and what does the Mariners as a front office or a coaching staff need to see from Cole Young and Colt Emerson to say, yes, they are starting second baseman and third baseman respectfully? Because I don't think Ben Williamson's power's there. Maybe the defense is there, but to say, ooh, he's definitely our big league starting third baseman this year.
Yeah, for me, Colt Emerson, I think from day one, even before they drafted him, they were so impressed just by the makeup, the maturity. Colt Emerson was still 17 years old when they drafted him out of small town, Ohio. And every step of the way the last few years, he's checked every box. He made his debut in AAA in late September and played in the PCL playoffs with the Tacoma Rainiers and hit 2 home runs. He's a lefty swinger, and both those home runs were off lefties too. So by all accounts, with his minor league track record, he's kind of platoon immune as well. So I think the Mariners are really intrigued by that, how he fares early on here in spring training against lefties. But he spent a lot of time, most of his time at shortstop. I think the Mariners do see him as the eventual heir apparent to J.P. Crawford at shortstop. But what does he look like at third base? I do think, by all accounts and scouts I've talked to, he's got the arm to play third. He's got the instincts. He's got the athleticism. Just how does he look there over a month consistently? What does he need to work on there defensively? But I think the profile, the makeup with the bat is all there. Again, now he just needs to see it regularly against some major league pitching. And again, I think ultimately the question is how comfortable are the Mariners going to be to hand a really important position like that, third base, to a 20-year-old who's played all of 6 or 7 games above AA. So that's going to be the real question. I don't think they're, again, circling back to just who he is and the makeup, the commitment, the attitude. I've heard a lot of comps to Cal Raleigh just in terms of the makeup and his desire to win, his competitiveness, his maturity, and I think obviously any Mariner fans would love another guy who has similar makeups as Cal Raleigh right now.
Adam, can the bullpen be as good as it was last year? Munoz, Spire, that whole brush, that whole makeup of what – because they threw a lot, okay? They did throw a lot of innings, and they threw a lot of innings in the postseason. So can they be as good and as effective as they were last year?
Yeah, I think coming into the offseason, priority 1 was re-signing Josh Naylor. Priority 1A was bolstering that bullpen. And they did that with what the Mariners feel like is one of the most underrated relievers in baseball, and Jose Ferrer. Obviously, they gave up one of the top catching prospects in all of baseball, Harry Ford, in that deal with the Nationals to bring Ferrer here to Seattle. And the Mariners really wanted another lefty, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're still in talks to try to bring in another established mid bullpen lefty type. I think that is something that's still on their wish list here, but it's a fair question. They really rode those guys, particularly Gabe Spire, Edward Bizzardo. Those guys were just gassed by Game 7 of the ALCS. You saw it. You can question some of the bullpen usage stuff, but those guys got them there. They rode them hard, and they were going to ride them to the end. That's what you had, and those are the guys who come through so often for the Mariners. But yeah, I think it's a question for any team that goes that deep into the playoffs and has to rely on the same 4 or 5 guys so much. Gabe Spire, I'm really curious to see. He's going to pitch for Team USA in the WBC. I was a little surprised at that. Not that he didn't deserve it. I think he was the most dominant lefty in baseball last year out of the bullpen outside of our oldest Chapman. And I'm curious to see what he looks like this year and what he looks like for Team USA too. But he certainly deserves it with the year he had. But I do think bringing Ferrer in and they brought in some kind of under the radar types too. It's something the Mariners love to do with their pitching development. Bring in the guys that maybe are cast-offs from other teams, and maybe they see something, tweak something, or ask the guy to throw more sliders. They love to do, or just throw more strikes at the end of the day. Paul Sewald is maybe the best example they've had of that in recent years, but they always seem to find some hidden gem too that becomes a key 7th inning guy for them. So again, AJ, it's a really good question. It's a fair question. But if you were to lay out just the guys that they have, Andres Munoz, Matt Brash, Ferrer, Spire, Bizzardo, I think the Mariners would kind of line up those 5 with any 5 really in the American League right now.
For a team that's strapped for cash, you always look at every transaction and go, oh, is that a good use of it? Rob Refsnyder, somebody that wasn't brought up at all in this conversation, was he a need that they have? When you look at their outfield, it's all right-handed with Victor Robles. You have Rosarena and Julio Rodriguez. Are they bringing in Refsnyder just because of the fact that he can hit lefties really well and can zone, is left-handed, and really they're paying a platoon DH $6.25 million?
Yeah, I'll be honest, Eric, I was a little surprised at that number at the end of the day too. But again, it shows me that the Mariners, yes, you could say they're pretty right-handed heavy in the outfield, but off the bench. And then when you're talking about a platoon sort of DH guy too, they really like Dom Canzone. Luke Raley is looking for a bounce back season, but both those guys are lefties. They're going to get some time in right field and DH, and then Refsnyder will kind of be your backup first baseman too, and maybe 4th, 5th outfielder type. But by all accounts too, he's a great fit in the clubhouse, and I'm sure every team says that they want good clubhouse guys, but I think the Mariners have really embodied that probably as much as anyone in recent years. It's a really, really good, really strong, mature clubhouse led by Cal Raleigh, J.P. Crawford, and you can throw certainly Julio sort of growing up and emerging in a leadership role here too. But they've heard great things about Refsnyder, and again, he crushed lefties the last couple years, and they feel like as a pinch hitter, part-time DH, part-time, right fielder, wherever you need to plug him in. He was kind of that final piece they needed to round out their bench. And I'm curious to get to know him a little bit better and see what he actually looks like up close. But I do feel like it was a very specific need, and the one guy that they realized they probably had to overpay for a little bit versus the market just to make sure and get him across country here and ultimately sign him.
I think Rob Refsnyder's a great deal. I just think I hear all the Mariners because he's a great player and he has really, really done a great job and unbelievable dude. But just the whole Mariners like spending money, you're like, how did they spend money and why did they spend it on this? So that was a good answer by you. Last question. We haven't even really talked about Cal Raleigh. Is Cal Raleigh going to be able to have, I'm not even going to say the same type of year. The reason we thought he was the MVP is because it was a historic year. But is there a drop-off in Cal Raleigh to 40 home runs doesn't that detrimentally hurt the Mariners because they needed all 60 homers last year?
The answer, it's not a great answer, but yes and no. I mean, where are those 20 extra home runs going to come, right? If you're not bringing, again, I'm not ruling out Gino Suarez, but if you're not bringing Gino back, you lost 26 homers from Jorge Polanco too. You got to find that power from somewhere. I think the Mariners were third in baseball in home runs last year behind the Dodgers and Yankees. They were also third, I think, in stolen bases as well. So they tried to be versatile and diverse with their offense. But it's going to look a little bit different this year. I don't think anyone reasonably expects Cal to hit 60 again. But yeah, you're right. What does it look like if it's only 40 or 45? But he's in the prime of his career. He's in great shape. I actually ran into Cal yesterday. He bought new property in Seattle last summer and is getting settled in here. And he's got, I think, 5 acres now. And he was actually meeting with some guys to get new batting cages installed on his property. He was really excited about that. So I don't think there's anyone questioning Cal Raleigh's work ethic or his commitment. But again, you guys would know better than I would, catching every day, catching as much as he does, and then working with the pitching staff the way he does, hitting for both sides of the plate. I mean, his time, every minute of his day during the season is sort of accounted for. He's got his routine down. And you have to wonder at some point, does he need to take a few extra days off here and there? What are they doing to manage his workload? But if you ask Cal, he wants to be in there. He wants to be behind the plate every day. Again, he's 28, 29 years old in the prime of his career, the picture of health, knock on wood for him. But I'm not sure there's too much of a worry about him not hitting 50 or 60 home runs. You would think, again, Julio Rodriguez, 25 years old now. It's like we've seen him get a little bit better each year working on something. Is this the year where he finally gets off to a good start too and he becomes the 10 WAR player I think everyone feels like is inside of him? Maybe that's the difference right there. Josh Naylor for a full season. You get him in the middle of that lineup. The Mariners will figure it out somewhere, but again, the power really was a big part of their identity offensively last year, and they're obviously going to have to find those home runs somewhere. If Cal's, you're subtracting 20 from him, and then you're losing Polanco and you're losing Gino too. So I'm curious to see how that unfolds. Absolutely.
Adam, listen. I know we're a baseball show, okay? But there is a big game in about 10 days, 9 days or so. And listen, I'm a Bears fan, but everyone, including my family, all knows that my 1B team is the Seahawks, and I've been a Seahawks fan a long time because I have friends that work in the organization. So has anyone even noticed that the Mariners are in the offseason, or is it all the 12th man? And by the way, can we get them to wear these uniforms in the Super Bowl, please? Because these helmets are sick.
I've got to hustle out here. I've been called out of the back end of the bullpen to help with Seahawks coverage at the Super Bowl. So I'll be there. I'll go put in a good word, see if we can. That's my preference. Those are the helmets I grew up with here in Seattle too, with the Seahawks. So it's a great look, and it looks great on you. You could probably play some special teams maybe if they need you.
Can Sam Darnold please just let's do it, Sam. One more game, Sam. Come on. One more game. Besides, nobody really likes the Patriots, do they? I mean, isn't everyone tired of the Patriots? Like, I'm tired. I mean, I know they went away for a couple years, but now here they are again. Salary cap will eliminate dynasties. It really will.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, Adam. 15. It's the stat that burns into my brain. 15 straight years, Patriots or Chiefs in the semifinals in the NFL, the AFC Championship game. So parity galore. We love it.
And by the way, Adam, for the people that don't believe me that I'm a Seahawks fan, go back and check out what the game the Seahawks played the Jaguars in Jacksonville. It was like 2017-ish. There was a special ball boy on the sidelines for the Seahawks that day, and he did an amazing job running ball, being the ball boy for the Seahawks.
Wow, I could see it.
Yeah. Pete Carroll, I know he just got fired. He's awesome. Sorry.
He's a good dude.
He had 30 grade speed as a prospect.
Yeah. AJ is biggest waffler of all time. Born in New York, from Florida. Hates the snow, loves Chicago. Huge Bears fan. Wow, shocker that he's got one of the helmets of the teams in the playoffs. Just wiffle, waffle,
Listen,
waffle.
You can ask my kids. My kids said if the Bears would have beat the Rams, the question was, Dad, who are you rooting for in the NFC Championship game? And I just said, I guess we'll never know because the Bears blew it against the Rams. But I know who I definitely was rooting for last week, and I know who I'm rooting for next week. There's no doubt.
Should be a good one.
AJ and his many teams he root for. He's such a nice guy. Adam, thanks for the time. Yeah, little waffle.
Thank you, guys.
He roots for the Waffle Housers. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. This was great. Great info. Have a good one.
Appreciate it, guys. You too. Thanks, guys.
Adam's work is in the Seattle Times. Check it out.
If you're looking to get your food routine down at home, you need to add some premium protein from Omaha Steaks.
That's right. It's steaks. The filet mignon is incredible, Kratz. I've had the chicken. I've had the shrimp cocktail. We both love the burgers very much. And there's a way to save a little money on your order. So you can go to omahasteaks.com. Promo code is FOUL at checkout to get yourself an extra $35 off.
The fan favorite filet mignon has earned the coveted distinction of the USDA certified Very Tender, a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry.
Let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com, promo code FOUL. Terms apply. See site for details. We're back, and we have guests joining us soon. Jake Mangum's getting ready. He's so close to being ready that we're not even going to dive into another segment. And later on, we're going to talk to one of Kratz's BFFs, Kyle Higashioka. We'll catch up with Higgy and see what he's up to. And yes, he'll throw a heart his way. And also we'll find out what life is going to be like as, AJ, you said it yesterday,
a starting catcher. A starting catcher. He's never had that. So let's see how he handles it. His first time as a starter.
Full-time gig.
So it's gonna be AJ's interview because I don't know how to interview a starting catcher. I don't have any questions.
Different.
All I know is Higgy is a backup.
Life's different as a starter.
I was a starter one time. It was awesome.
You have way more responsibility. You know, you don't have as much
you do
time
nothing
to
as a starter.
You don't have as much time to schmooze every starting pitcher and every bullpen guy when you're starting because you're like, man, I actually have to play today. That was the funniest thing. Every guy was like, man, I love the backup because he sits there and talks to you for 4 hours, 6 days a week.
That was maybe one of my least favorite things of being a backup. Everybody's like, oh man, I'd love to. I wish AJ and I never played together. I wish AJ would talk to me more. I'm like, I wish I was on the field and not talking to you more. Like, he's better than I am. There's a reason that he is in there. This isn't like a popularity contest. So when pitchers say that, like, no. Like, you want the best player out there. Stop.
Off on Sundays.
And when a good pitcher pitches.
I wouldn't know. Maybe your guys, Kratz. I didn't miss many guys.
Not AJ. AJ, this is the stat that people need to check out, AJ. How many years in a row? Was it 130 games or 135 games in a row that you caught?
It was a 1,000 inning streak that I had until 14. I tied the all-time record for the most years in a row catching 1,000 innings, which if you don't know what 1,000 innings, it's about 125 games worth of catching. So I went from 2001 to 2014 and caught 1,000 innings every
14 seasons. That's much easier
that
to
is
say.
impressive.
That's what it was a certain amount of games. That's so ridiculous. Like, look it up. Plus, he had on 2,000 hits. Plus, whatever.
Listen, I actually, you know what's funny is people always are like, "Oh, what was it like facing this guy or this guy?" It was weird. The good pitchers I actually was better against than the bad pitchers because it was almost like actually I know why, because they threw strikes and I swung at everything. So if I faced the guys who didn't throw strikes, I sucked. It was the guys like Greg Maddux that threw it over the plate that I was like, "Oh, I can hit this dude. He throws strikes, and I know he's going to throw me a strike."
That's going to be the new stat.
Not the effectively wild guys.
Stat. We're going to get to Jake, but that's going to be a new stat. What guys do against ones and twos compared to what guys do against threes and fours, and who's the best against the best. There's your new stat, Jake Petriello and Enosaurus.
Someone will work on it for us. Let's get to our next guest. New Pittsburgh Pirate, Jake Mangum, joining us right now. We need to flip you.
Okay. Let's see how this goes.
There we go. Yeah.
So much
perfect.
Better.
Looking great, Jake.
Good looking fella. I didn't realize that Jake Mangum was this good looking. I'm just going to stare into his eyes.
He is a handsome fella. Yes.
You know what? I'm in my truck right now. We just finished up some live at bats, but had to run out here and hop on the call. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Well, we appreciate you for jumping on. Sorry for the mix-up. We told everybody about it yesterday because we tell everybody everything on this show. But let's get right to the good stuff. How was Live BP?
It was good. Actually, Connor Griffin joined. Me and Connor Griffin got in there today. Yeah, I know, right? Connor Griffin. He is fun to watch, man. He's a freak talent.
Okay, so we're gonna get. Did you get any hits? Did either one of you do anything good? Because Kratz has this whole thing that nobody that went to high school in Mississippi can actually hit. Okay, so Connor Griffin and you both can hit. Now? Like, wow! And high school.
Made some contact. I don't know if it's a hit or not, but we'll count it. I thought Connor got one. He said he capped it, but I thought he got one.
Do you have TrackMan? I mean, that's the only way kids know it these days. If they hit one good.
Nah, this was old school. Just straight up on the mound in the box with a catcher, and catcher called balls and strikes.
It's good that you only you made contact. Nobody ever makes the team in Live BP. Nope, not one person has ever. I've seen dudes mash in Live BP and swing and miss, and the opposite is what happened. So you know that. You're totally fine. Tell Connor he's totally fine.
Touch the ball, so we're good there. I mean, we'll head to camp this weekend.
So you're going to go down early because it's too cold for you, or because you like getting there early, especially with a new team?
I like getting down there early. New team. I'd like to make some new relationships with the coaches and stuff, and just get to know some players. But I've always head down there a couple weeks early, and I got a lot of new faces to meet and a lot of people to meet.
All right. So who's better, you or Connor? You guys same high school, right? Jackson Prep. You guys are Mississippi boys. I mean, who's better? I mean, now you're teammates.
I'm biased, but I'll say the 2013 through 15 Jackson Prep Patriots were better than their teams at Jackson Prep. I think that there's a big debate at the school about who was better, but I think our three teams, 13 to 15, were better than their crews. Who
else did you guys have?
My team: Noah Hughes, Parker Caracci, Gene Wood. They all went on to play in the SEC. Parker played for the Blue Jays minor league system for a while. We had some younger guys on the team. Will Warren, he's a big leaguer now with the Yankees. We got a couple other college guys that I'm leaving off, but it was a good crew, man.
All right. So then tell us about Connor. Tell us, I mean, I know you're going to get this question. So tell us what do we need to know about Connor Griffin as the number one prospect in all of baseball? What do we need to know about him?
So here's what I got. I appreciate the fact that Connor works like he's not any good. He works his tail off, but then you watch him and he's a freak talent. Every time he swings, you can just hear the wind from the bat, like just swings the ever-living crap out of it with a short, compact swing. I think he could have played at the pro level in football, basketball, or baseball. So I'm glad he picked baseball because he's, in our organization. But he's a freak talent, man. Like there's nothing he does that he doesn't just wow you. Lifting, jumping, throwing, swinging, like whatever he does, you're just like, oh my gosh, like this guy's a freak. He could have done anything. I'm glad he picked baseball though.
And we hear he's a great dude. I coached him. AJ and I coached him for like 2 minutes at the All-American game out in Seattle. So yeah, I've seen it up close and personal. Whenever there's a freak talent like that, and you're like, aren't you a little bit like, hey, what does he do wrong? So what's his one downfall? What's Connor Griffin's one downfall?
That he committed to LSU and not Mississippi State.
There you go. Maybe
that's
they had more
all
money.
I got. That's all I got.
Maybe they had more money. Everybody, I always ask that question when people talk about Mookie Betts, and I'm not saying Connor Griffin's going to be Mookie Betts. They think he's more of like Mike Trout as a shortstop, but I would say that about Mookie Betts. Like everyone's like, he could do anything really good. Okay, so what's the one thing he doesn't do well? Is he a bad singer? Does Connor Griffin sing?
Never heard him sing, but I asked our high school coach at Jackson Prep. I was like, man, who's his comp? And his answer was, and this is Jay Powell, the pitching coach at Prep. Jay Powell pitched Game 7 for the Marlins when they won the World Series. Big, long pro career. Jay Powell's answer was, I've never seen anyone like him to comp him. And his answer is, his comp is Connor Griffin. So that's a pretty unique thing. I'm excited to get down to Bradenton, though, and keep working with Connor and keep bouncing stuff off each other and keep learning.
All right, let's get to you, Jake. Let's get to the fact that you now got traded over to the Pittsburgh Pirates, where Connor Griffin hopefully will make the team and everything. But you're a guy that they traded for. When the Pirates did trade for you, what did they say? What did they say they need from you or want from you? Because this is why you weren't just a throw-in, because you had a really, really awesome year last year. What did they tell you?
Well, first off, all of them were telling me how they're ready to take the next step as a team, and that they're making a push to go win. It was an honor to be in a trade with Belau and Mason Montgomery. Belau was someone, as a rookie last year, I looked up to, and he kind of led our clubhouse. I relied on Belau a lot, and the fact that he's coming over is making this change a lot easier for me. But they told me to continue to play my ball. I told them that there's some changes I'm trying to make. Not changes, but just try to get better. Like there's things that I left on the field last year that I felt like I could get better at. As a 29-year-old rookie last year, I was just trying to survive. I was doing whatever it took to stay another day in the big leagues. And what I quickly learned is that it's a completely different level in AAA. The talent it's a big talent jump. But the Pirates told me was be ready to play left field and center field, and we have a lot of space out there. They said left field's almost like another center field at PNC, so I need to go track some balls down. And they told me that they wanted me to continue to hit for a high average. And obviously, as the competitors we are, I'm trying to figure out how to slug the ball a little bit better and work more walks. There's some low-hanging fruit that I had last year that I felt like I can get better at. And with a year of the big league experience, I feel like I had a great offseason of working on that.
Jake, center field, O'Neal Cruz?
No. They said left field and center field. So just kind of bouncing around out between the two.
Okay. You should fly to Pittsburgh and make Don Kelly come in and hit you fungos out in left field. He would love that. He would absolutely love that right now.
I met DK this past weekend at Pirate Fest, dude. He is awesome. Really enjoyed talking to him. He it's so cool to me that he's from Pittsburgh, went to college in Pittsburgh, debuted with Pittsburgh, and now he's the manager of the Pirates. Like, if you mix all those things together, it's like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, that's got to be a dream come true for him.
For sure. All right. So Pittsburgh, what do you know? What else do you know about Pittsburgh other than PNC Park, Iron City beer? Like, what's the first thing when you get to, was it Permani Brothers, right? With the
Permani Brothers.
Bad sandwich with French fries on it. It's just not good. But
I like
is their thing.
sandwiches and I like French fries, so I need to try it at least. I haven't tried it yet, but what I learned was man, Pittsburgh fans are diehard. Like they're all at FanFest, they're all in black and gold. Like whether it's Penguins, Steelers, or Pirates stuff, they're diehard. They're really knowledgeable about Pittsburgh and knowledgeable about the teams. They really want a winner, and man, like it's a really cool spot. PNC is gorgeous too. Like the field, walking out there, like the backdrop was so cool.
Did you ever think you were going to get traded as a rookie? I mean, I get it. People don't know you're 29 years old. And I have to officially say today, this is going to hurt AJ's feelings. You're a grinder because you grinded through the minor leagues. People grind in baseball. AJ says he grinded, but you're a true grinder. So congratulations. I rarely bestow that on anybody. But did you think you were going to get traded?
No, I wasn't expecting to get traded. But funny story here, AJ, I actually wore some cleats that were custom made for you when I was a kid.
Dude, everybody has my cleats. Everybody has my cleats.
I don't know how I got them. I don't know. But when I was in high school playing summer ball, I wore your cleats with your name on it.
Where?
I played for Doolin Dodgers in Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know how I got the cleats too, but that's a crazy story. I just remember putting them on and be like, these are the coolest things ever, dude. These are sick.
See, Kratz? Kratz says I didn't give anything away. We had Foster Griffin on here the other day. He's like, I wore your cleats. They were the wrong size. I mean, we've had dudes on here saying I wore your gloves, your cleats, your shoes, everything. I mean, your gear.
I don't know how I came across them, but I wore the crap out of them when I was in high school and summer ball. But no, I wasn't expecting to get traded. But the 29-year-old rookie thing, it was tough, man. I get drafted sophomore, junior, senior year of college, stay till my senior year at 23 years old. My 24-year-old gets scrapped because of COVID. So I'm starting low A baseball in Asheville, North Carolina at 25 years old. And I just remember calling my dad saying right before the game, I was like, Dad, if I don't hit right now, I'm going to be out of this thing very fast. So, but luckily was able to hit my way through the minors and got a shot last year at 29 years old. Yeah.
What did the Rays tell? Oh, sorry, Kratz, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, what would you tell yourself? Because you were in a completely different organization when you first broke into the minor leagues. What would you tell yourself now as a 23-year-old? Would you agree with your assessment that you had to hit right now based on the journey that you've taken?
Yeah, at my age and where I was at, I couldn't afford a bad year. I think I felt like one bad year I would have gotten cut. So, you know, when I kept coming back to school as a draft eligible sophomore, I got drafted by the Yankees, Mets. And I just kept saying, like, it's hard for me to leave Mississippi State. I'm from here. This is, you know, born and raised here. Really wanted to bring a national championship there. We fell short of that. But, yeah, I'd say, man, you got to hit immediately. You have to have good years or you're not going to be able to afford a bad one. So I just say the same thing I told myself back then. It's like, you can hit. Like, go hit. Go get base hits and help a team win ball games and good things happen. But, you know, kept going back to school, and I knew I'd start it a little bit later, but having faith that I was going to hit through the minors. And, you know, good Lord willing, I was able to do that. So now I'm trying to have a good MLB career and take the next step as a big leaguer.
Okay, we're going to get to Mississippi State before you get off the air. Don't worry. But what did you, people that don't know, you started with the Mets, you ended up coming up with the Rays for the first time. What were the Rays like? Because everyone wants to be the Rays organization, right? Every team is like, oh, we want to be like the Rays. So what was the Rays secret sauce? You're not there anymore. You can tell us.
They're really detailed in what they do. You know, when it comes to like defense and base stealing, like we would always have a game plan going into the game. And they worked on things that you needed to get better at that you weren't expecting. Like my release time needed to get better in the outfield. That's not anything. I was always thinking I got to get the arm stronger or we need to work on throwing harder. But we found a way to kind of get my release time quicker. Finding little things on when to run and when to not run on the bases. Offensively, their philosophy with me was just they really leaned into what I did well. They told me to go hit for a high average and steal bases. And the Rays are open to winning in any way. They want to have guys that hit for average and hit for power and play good defense and always the staples pitch well. Because I feel like if you want to win, you got to have good pitching. But they leave no stone unturned, really. They're finding any which way to get an advantage.
27 bags. Can you eclipse that, or are you already on the age curve where speed's going to start going down?
I always say I was a late bloomer, so I'm going to be a late ager. So I feel young. This offseason, been really working on my running. I missed a month in May, so hopefully I can stay healthy all year and try to get to at least 30 bags.
I love it. Go, you go be you now. Listen, you said you couldn't leave Mississippi State. All right. My daughter, she went there for 1 year, played volleyball. She couldn't wait to leave Mississippi State. So I don't know. Maybe it's because you're from Mississippi or not. My daughter's from Florida. She now goes to a real school. But I just want to say this. I was at the Mississippi State Florida game, and I don't know, you probably have not heard this, but I had a bet with one of the players on Mississippi State that the loser had to get a tattoo of the other team's school. Thank God that your quarterback threw that pick at the end of the game, because otherwise I would have had to get a tattoo. And I was on the field watching that game with my daughter, and she was rubbing it in my face that I would have to get a tattoo, and then the guy threw the pick. So I just want to say thank you to you and to every other Mississippi State fan out there. Thank you.
I was also at that game, and that one stung. That one stung really bad. Felt like we could have made the field goal right there. But, I love it. I loved it. I'm from Mississippi. We don't have pro sports. We have one AA team in Biloxi now, the Biloxi Shuckers. Outside of that, like the whole state kind of rallies behind the colleges. There's a lot of great baseball in Mississippi, and it was just hard for me to leave home. Felt like it bothers me that you commit to a 4-year school and you get punished for staying 4 years the way it's structured with senior signs. I get how it all works, but that always upset me a little bit. But yeah, it was hard for me to leave, man. But loved it there, loved my time there, and I tell every baseball fan it should be a bucket list thing. If you love baseball, go check out a game at Duty Noble Field. It's a really unique environment.
All right, one last thing. It brought to my mind when you said Don Kelly, you're like, he stayed in Pittsburgh. He's now coaching in Pittsburgh. He grew up in Pittsburgh. He also married Pittsburgh royalty. He married Neil Walker's sister. So let's just put it this way. If you are going to lose your job this year, it's probably going to be to DK's kids, because their lineage of athleticism is ridiculous. But there's another layer to add on to the DK mystery that is his glorious life.
Yeah, met his wife with him this weekend. They were awesome. They said something like she went to a rival high school or something, if I'm not mistaken. So, dude, the whole story behind that is just unbelievable. Like that really is got to be a dream come true for him. Like, to stay home, debut where you lived, went to college there, all that stuff, dude. The story is unbelievable, and it was awesome meeting all the guys. The team seems awesome. Everyone seems really driven and really ready to, all work really hard to bring a winning product to Pittsburgh. So we're going to do all we can to do that, and hopefully have a great year.
We're excited about it, Jake. Bring it. Bring all the passion and the energy. The fan base is starving for some winning baseball. We all know that. What, AJ?
Hey, ask DK about the story I told him about when he played for Jim Leland. I told him this weekend at the award ceremony when Skeens got his Cy Young. Ask him if he's going to talk like that as a manager, and he'll know the story when you see him. Just say, "Hey, I heard AJ told you a Jim Leland story," and just, if you don't laugh about that one, then you're not a baseball player.
All right, I'll check it out when we get down to Bradenton. I'll check it out. I'll remember that.
Kutch coming back?
What'd you say? Yeah, last question.
I don't know, man. I've never met Kutch. Like I said, new to the organization, but I know he's passionate about Pittsburgh, and I know he's a Pirate legend. So we're all on board, pulling the same side of the rope, trying to win ball games in Pittsburgh. So we'll see.
All right, Jake. Hope you enjoyed it, man. Great chat, and we'll see you in spring training.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. We'll see y'all in Bradenton.
Yes, thank you. Really appreciate the time. That's Jake Mangum from the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll be right back.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Hey, there was a sit-down conversation with Mark DeRosa and Ken Rosenthal. Ken asked him about Team USA. What's it looking like? We'll pick out a few notable parts of the conversation. Number one, Ken asked him about the restrictions on pitchers and if that has changed and how he's going to handle it. I remember D-Row talking about how he wanted to handle it differently this time around because it is very difficult to coordinate with teams. Team USA has this tougher than everyone else. For some reason, it is tougher for teams with American players to let them go. You think I'm wrong, Kratz? We can start there before I even dive into this. I think it's a tougher conversation when you are the Dodgers and you're trying to hold back. They're not, but if you're trying to hold back Yamamoto, it sounds like they might want to hold back Ohtani. And it's like, sorry, we're playing for Team Japan. I think for some reason there's a stigma with the USA team with pitchers. Do you agree with me, AJ, that it's tougher for the USA guys?
Yes.
Than
Okay.
other countries?
Yes.
Yes, agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
They're like,
So
for some reason, it's like, this is my country. And then for USA, it's like, it's not that it's not a USA pride thing. It's just the teams feel more entitled to say no.
So they're able to say no because maybe I'm not sure the word I'm looking for, like there's more like honor in the Japanese pitchers pitching, you're saying? Or there's more honor in a Dominican pitcher pitching for the DR? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's clearly run by the U.S. It's a U.S. event. And for some reason, being that there's so many players from the States, they just feel like they can say no to their pitcher not participating. I think it also steamrolls. AJ, do you feel that too?
Yes.
Where it's like,
Well, Mark,
this
I was
team
going to
said
say
no for
there's
this
more
pitcher.
options for USA, I feel like. And so because they have more options, I think they're more inclined to say no. Not that it's right or wrong, but I agree. Mark even wrote this in the chat. There's more players, and more pitchers available. And I think that's why teams are a little bit more inclined, like, Scooble, if we say no to Scooble, they can just go grab somebody else from another organization because there's more options. Whereas Japan doesn't have as many options that we know of in the US, right? Especially in Major League Baseball. All the Dominican guys are like, I'm going to play for my team at all costs. Venezuela the same way. And a lot of Americans feel the same way. It's just there's more options. I think maybe because we know their names. I don't want to say that USA has more stars than other countries at all, because it's not true. Shohei Yamamoto, Dominican team is loaded. Venezuelan team is good. A lot of teams are good, but I just think that there's more options, especially from the pitching side.
So with all of that being said, when D-Row was asked about the pitching restrictions, he said, it's still going to be there. That's why I tried to build it out a little differently so guys had roles. It's also why we added Clayton Kershaw. You go back to the Mexico game last time around, we got caught. There was a scenario where Brady Singer had to cover some innings for us, even though it wasn't optimal for him because we weren't going to be able to cover the next day. And note that Brady Singer threw 53 pitches in 2 innings, gave up 4 runs in that Mexico game for Team USA. So that stands out. Do we have any comments there? Clayton Kershaw clearly has a role, mop-up man, and he'll crush it. That's great. Kind of going to be like, I don't know, kick him back with a beer, watch the game, and then, you need me? I'll go as many pitches as you want. There's no tomorrow, and there's no insurance policy.
I love it. It's a great role. It's a great role. They should do this. Let Kratz or I be the third catcher. And, there's a blowout. Hey, you guys get to run out there and hang out and catch a couple innings, and against some team that either is winning or losing by a lot. I mean, I'm in. D-Row, call me. I'll do it. I'll be your third catcher. Heck, I might even catch a bullpen. What's a bullpen?
I don't know if he's allowed to call you, but yes, it would be great.
I honestly think, like, my mind, when I read this earlier this morning, my mind went to, if Kershaw wasn't him, who would they have gone to? Like, would they have been like, hey, Max, I know you're not signed with a team yet. Hey, Verlander, I know you're not signed with a team yet, but we'd love for you to be our mop-up guy. I get it. They're still playing this year. but like this role, I don't know. It's tough.
Did you say Lance Lynn?
Yeah, guys like Lance Lynn might get a phone call if Clayton
They
was
need a veterans
busy.
exemption.
Seriously, a guy
just
recently.
started up.
Exception, right? They could have Pudge Rodriguez on Puerto Rico as a third catcher, or Yachty, right? I guess Yachty's managing. He could be player manager, right? Dominican could have like Pujols come in to do something. Kratz
This
could be
isn't
the third
fantasy
catcher
land.
in USA. Yeah, it is. Why not? We want to. It's not a. It's guys aren't getting paid like their livelihood on this. It's an exhibition. I thought it's like the All-Star game. Golden at bat. We should do the golden at bat. Try all kinds of crazy stuff.
It's much more.
It's not an exhibition. It's not an exhibition. All the talk when you put that uniform on, when you play for Team USA, we are here to win. We are here to do what it takes to win. And so this is where I think the WBC, hey, it's great for the U.S. They're able to have Kershaw in that role, and I think that is a very valuable role. WBC needs to look into like that flexible, more of like a winter ball type of roster flexibility, just because every team is going to have these restrictions on pitchers, not just for Team USA, for other teams, for other countries also. You don't want somebody throwing 54 pitches in 2 innings. No player would do that. They even changed those rules in spring training where now you can throw 20 pitches. You can come out and then you can come back in and start it again. Like, those are exhibition games. In my opinion, these are not exhibition games, and you're not putting a team together as an exhibition type of game.
They don't mean anything. I mean, listen, do they want to win? Absolutely, but they don't mean anything in the grand. Guys aren't making their livelihood off what they do off Team USA. Listen, is it awesome? 100%. I love the WBC. I love MLB players in the Olympics. I like all that stuff. I want all that stuff. Because playing for your team, your country should matter. But at the end of the day, when I say exhibition games, I mean guys aren't getting their salary from this. These stats don't matter when they go to arbitration. These aren't, the owners of the teams aren't going like, oh man, I can't believe that, Trey Turner hit that grand slam against Venezuela in 2023. Let's pay him $5 million extra. Like, no, this is exhibition as in pride. Just like the All-Star game is an exhibition. You want to win. But that doesn't mean it's not an exhibition game.
I think it's looked at as importantly as a playoff game.
Agreed.
More important than regular season.
As an MLB playoff game.
Yes.
It's not looked at that by front offices.
Okay, if it was looked at like
players.
an MLB playoff game, then we should do it at a different time of the year and run it where teams have full access to all the pitching. If you're saying that this is the level of an MLB playoff game, then let's run this in the middle of the summer when everybody's hot.
This is as close as it can get.
That. Yeah, this is as close as you
I'm
can
okay
get
with it too, but don't trust me.
No, I mean it. I'm saying it with my chest. It's as important. The players take it as seriously as a playoff game with their performance. They are not looking at it like the All-Star game. The All-Star game is funsy. This is not. Also, your sport. I mean, you guys know your sport. You can't.
It affects your. Actually, the All-Star game affects your career more than the WBC does, because at the end of your career, people say he's a 7-time All-Star. They don't say he was a 3-time WBC player. They say he was a 3-time All-Star.
Well, that's for making the team. That's your regular season.
He was a gold medal winner.
But that's regular season.
WBC team.
Yeah, but you're talking about the event itself, not the lead up to it, not getting selected to the event. The event itself, I think, for players means as much as a postseason game.
WBC
and champion. I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you, AJ. Let's do it in the middle of the season. I'm fine with that. They're going to try to do that with the Olympics.
Listen, I love the WBC. Nobody loves it more than me. I love it. I went to a game. I went to the Venezuela USA game. It was one of the best games I've ever been to. I'm not saying that to degrade it. I'm just saying in the grand scheme of people's career, these games don't mean the same as a playoff game.
I disagree. I think it means as much as a playoff game.
Okay, can you tell me who gave up the home run to Kike Hernandez this year in the Game 7? I mean, not Kike Hernandez, sorry, to
Miguel Rojas.
Miggy Rowe in Game 7 of the World Series.
You're going to play a memory game with with my ass on
Jeff
sales
Hoffman?
calls
Yeah.
all day. I know that it was Jeff Hoffman, but I'm saying I know what you're about to do. You're going to ask me about a specific instance during the World Baseball Classic from many years ago. That's not fair. Is that what you're doing?
Why? Yeah. Now, who gave up the grand slam to Trey Turner for Venezuela?
Who gave up literally anything in 2024 in any game of any kind, including World Series? I don't remember shit.
Give me a postseason
So that's
that
a
a
bad
guy gave up a
comparison.
huge home run. 2024, go to the postseason. Who gave up a huge home run? We probably can figure it out quicker than you can tell me who gave up the grand slam to Trey Turner.
Because it wasn't someone good?
No, because it's not as important as the playoffs.
It was a dude that had his jersey completely open.
Quevedo, wasn't it? Quevedo, the guy with the Angels. You hit a pitcher for the Angels.
One button left.
Yeah, exactly.
There
I think
are
his name's
moments-
Quevedo.
I remember Trout versus Ohtani as much as any at bat since I've been alive.
Yes, you remember that. Yes, because it was teammates, the whole deal. I get that one. And plus, it was to win the whole thing. That was awesome. I loved it.
Mhm.
I hope it happens again. I hope it comes up again where I don't know who's pitching, but teammates are pitching and Ohtani's up or Trout or not Trout, but Judge is up and he's facing his teammate with the WBC on the line. I think that stuff is unbelievable.
I agree.
Good debate. Next part. They still have one spot open. I know many players listen to this show. Now is your chance to call Mark DeRosa if you have his number. Ken asked about the last spot. He said, what do you want? Someone versatile? And he said, we're going to look at it. I had my eye on Cody Bellinger. I thought Bellinger would serve a perfect purpose for it, but him signing with the Yankees, going through everything, he has decided not to do it. And I completely understand that. So someone in that vein.
Okay. Someone that can play all over the field for you. You need somebody that can play multiple positions in case something happens. It's it's a great idea.
Here's the issue. Is Cody Bellinger's up here. That's why he got the money that he got. Most guys that play all over the field are down here. And they don't want to go to, they're trying to like scrap and claw, not to make the team, but to like solidify themselves on the team. Like let's say like Ernie Clement type of player. I think Ernie Clement's already on the team. Am I correct on that? Anyway,
maybe.
Find out.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Do you go to this and play 2 of the 8 games or 9 games that are played in the WBC? Or do you stay back and play in your spring training games to get ready for the season? That's the hardest discussion, I think, with finding this last player. It has to be a guy who can handle all these positions. Most likely it'll be a veteran. And most likely Cody Bellinger doesn't need his 35 to 50 at-bats in spring training. He could possibly get them playing because he's good enough to play every single day and bounce around all those positions.
Clement is playing. Call Brendan Donovan.
They already have a second baseman. Does he want to play sparingly?
Yes.
For Team USA, or does he want to go to spring training and the team's like, hey, we don't, although it could elevate his trade status. A team could watch him in these, as AJ calls them, exhibition games. He gets a couple big hits, and they're like, all right, that's it. Put it over the line. We want to trade for Brandon Donovan.
Nope. You know what they're going to say? Ernie Clement raked in the postseason. That's why he's on Team USA, not because he did anything. If Ernie Clement did not have the postseason that he had, he would not be on Team USA. I'm sorry.
Agreed.
You can. So then you just made my point that the playoffs are more important.
What?
Nobody said they weren't more important. Everybody knows that the playoffs.
Scott said they're on the same level. Same level.
Just that the WBC is not an exhibition. They are on the level of playoffs. They're not more important. You play the whole season. You play your whole career to be in the playoffs. That was not the argument at all. You called them an exhibition games, which couldn't be farther from the truth. The All-Star game is an exhibition game. This is true international baseball competition.
I'll argue this to the day I die. The All-Star game is more important to your career than WBC is. Until that changes, you can't change my mind. You can't change my mind. Because when you go to the All-Star game,
individual career, it's more important. It doesn't mean crap.
I'm not saying it
for
doesn't matter. I'm not
bucket
saying that
list
the
purposes.
WBC doesn't
It
matter.
matters, but
And people don't want to win.
WBC is much more important to most players. They would have one WBC title. Then if there's no money involved, I think that's more important.
Okay,
winning
but at the end of
winning
the
a
day,
team,
when we
WBC.
just had the Hall of Fame debate, right? And All-Star game, how many All-Star games you made is not. They don't say, well, man, Andrew Jones played for the Netherlands in the WBC when he was 45 years old. They say he made 8 All-Star games or whatever it was. So that's not right.
You're talking about individual stuff, though. These are individual.
Yeah, well, Scott. That's how you get paid, though. That in your career, at the end of your career,
I'm not just talking about money here, though.
They ask is, did you win a World Series? Yes. Did you win a World Series? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Did you make the All-Star game? Yes. Right? Those are the questions you get asked more than anything. Did you win a World Series? Yes or no? Did you ever make an All-Star game?
I don't think they care about World Series that much. For Hall of Fame?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't think you think that's one of the first questions that they ask is if a player
won a World Series? How did you do in the postseason? How did you do in the why do you think Andy Pettitte got so much love? Derek Jeter so much love.
Stats, but yes.
Winning the World Series.
On the back of your baseball card, at no point will it ever say he hit 382 in the WBC. It'll give you your postseason stats. It'll give you your regular season stats, but it'll never say he did this in the. I'm sorry. Listen, I love the WBC. I love it. I think it's freaking awesome for the game, for the players. I love the emotion. I love when dudes rip their shirt off after they strike guys out, throw their bats, everything. They do all their stuff. When the Italians have the freaking cappuccino machine, the Team Israel had the stuffed guy in the thing, like all that stuff is unbelievably cool, right? But it's still an exhibition. It's not real games. Now, do they mean as much? Absolutely, to the players. But on the grand scheme of things, they are on a lower level.
Sorry. They mean more to most of the countries around the world. And the whole reason I brought this up was that general managers don't give a crap. And if it was up to them, nobody would play. And that's why Team USA has to fight through a stigma with their pitchers. That was my only point. I understand it's not helping your Hall of Fame case very much, but the players treat it like the Olympics, and the Olympics is very important.
This is all we got. That's all. As baseball players, it's all we got.
Right. This is the version of the Olympics.
Not to start another conversation, do the Cardinals let Brendan Donovan go and play because of the fact that he could be on the block?
Yes, they do. And technically, you're not allowed to tell someone no. You can just make a suggestion. I think it's much more difficult to make a suggestion to a position player. Pitching is the problem. Logan Webb told the Giants, sorry about it. I'm going anyway. But in most cases, I haven't heard of many position players being denied by their team, aside from insurance. That's Altuve and Carlos Correa. Insurance? The team.
No, the team denied me going. And I'm still kind of mad about it.
Just because nowadays you would have said, I'm going.
Yeah, at this time I understood why. We just won the World Series. I caught 150 games that year. It was the first one, so nobody really knew how important it was, right? Nobody knew what it would become where it is now, right? And that was the team that had Griffey and Chipper and Alex Rodriguez and Jeter and I think Roger Clemens and all these guys were on this. It was the first one. Nobody realized what it would become. And the White Sox said no, and I understood. But I wish I would have gotten to do it because I love the USA, and I would have loved to have put USA on my chest. One of my big regrets. I never got to play for the United States baseball team. It wasn't my fault. It just didn't work out.
And that's why front offices need to back off. Well, no. If he looks back, he would have said no. He would have told his team, "No, I'm going." But
this was the first one. There was no me telling him no. No, it was. You don't have a choice. Buck Martinez, you can't go.
If you were a current player, you would have said right now in 2026.
If I had a guaranteed contract and I had all the things lined up, and I already had like Logan Webb has guaranteed contract and he has all these things locked up already, I would have been like, I'm going. I don't care. I'll take my own insurance out on myself if I have to.
Right. Sick. Well said. Okay, let's get to our next guest. We're going to show a little thing, and then Kratz is going to introduce him. So, pop quiz, Kratz, get ready.
Scranton Rail Rider, great. Kyle Higashioka. He was. Now, before I steal AJ's thunder on this one, Higgy, how many years were you a starting catcher?
In the big leagues?
No.
When?
I
In
can
the
answer that
bushes.
one for you, Hickey. Hickey, I can
Oh.
answer that question for you so far. So far. So far.
In the
it's this.
bushes. How many years have you been a starting catcher?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I played like 12 years.
Yeah, in the minor leagues as a starting catcher. So AJ wants to say you've never been a starting catcher. It's the same. The minor leagues is the same as the big leagues. Tell him, Higgy. Tell him, just because he didn't spend any time in the minor leagues.
It's definitely it's not quite as fun.
Higgy, I just want you to understand now that you're going to be the starting catcher, you don't have to catch bullpens. They do these things for you. Brandon will clean your gear way better than he did last year when you and Jonah were splitting time, right? Okay, Mason will be there. All those guys, right? Rich Rice will come up to you and be like, Higgy, we need you to do an interview. And now you have to say yes, right? So all these things are going to change for you for the better. So congratulations, you're going to get to catch 120 games maybe this year, which means you can hit like 40 homers. You could have your Cal Raleigh year this year.
No, I'm still not the starting catcher. You know, me and Danny, we're gonna have a good time this year. He's great, and we kind of came up playing against each other, so I know what kind of damage he can do.
All right, let's talk about you though. What does this mean to you? Not only the fact that you got the 2-year deal last year after Josh Bard had told you you're going to be a $20 million a year catcher, which when he sent you down to AAA, which was like the biggest like backhanded slap in the face that you could ever get. But what does it mean to you that you can not only get that contract, but actually like live up to it? People are like, well, why on earth would they bring this guy in for this amount of money? And you proved that you were able to be a valuable piece to this organization that now moving forward, whether you split time with DJ or not, you're part of the catching core for this season for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's every player's dream to play for a long time in the major leagues. I definitely didn't think I'd be in a position to choose where I get to go at some point. So, just to have made it this far is incredible. But I think definitely my biggest fear is not providing value to the team. So, I definitely want to always make good on my whatever contract situation I've got.
How many more years can you play? We kind of talked about this when I texted you, and now you're eating avocado ice cream. So that's epic. How many more years can you play? Because you don't ever age. This is the first time I've ever seen you with facial hair. So maybe you are aging.
No, I found the avocado ice cream at Costco, and I started doing the math, and Tom Brady said he retired at like 44, and it was because of the avocado ice cream. So I got like 8 years left.
That's positive. That's positive. You're gonna be going for the Hall of Fame. What is it that you feel like this team was missing last year that you think can change with Skip now in and with, a few different guys leaving, a few different changes? What do you feel like the new guys are bringing into this team that you guys were missing last year on a day in, day out basis?
Well, I mean, the core of this team is still.
Not hearing him, right?
Mm-mm.
We lost
I
your
was like, is
audio.
that me?
Higgy, we lost your
I heard
audio for a sec.
The core of his team, and then it dropped.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait.
He kept moving.
Hey, they said take your headphones out.
Your headphones might have died. Take your headphones out. I don't know.
Oh yeah, perhaps.
Can we hear you now?
No.
Nope, nothing. Higgy, you are the best at electronics at ever. Like, you would be the one person that I would think would not. This is my roommate, and he would have the electronic hookups for our room every single road trip. But
he did.
He did.
Oh,
played
wow.
video.
So he really is good, though. Yeah.
He is really good. He's like, there's not much that Higgy's not good at. He's just like that, like, jack of all trades kind of thing. But if people look back at his career, I was joking about the fact that he's never started in the big leagues because he hasn't. But the fact that he played a long time in the minor leagues, a long time behind, not getting up there because of Austin Romine. 1 year in the playoffs, they went and traded for me, and they didn't. I came and I was the backup. Gary Sanchez, like, all guys that are out of the game now, and Kyle is thriving. Like, his value seen by front offices is ridiculous. If we get to the framing part of this, he's been one of the best framers in the minor leagues and the big leagues for parts of, I think, like 12 years since they started really tracking this. Higgy's back.
I heard a cough.
Oh, yeah.
But how can you frame so good, Kratz? How can you frame so well if he doesn't catch on one knee, though? I don't understand. Like, I thought you have to catch on one knee to be a good framer.
This first, we'll get to that. AJ, you asked that question after we re-racked the previous question about the core. You said the core is pretty much back, talking about how what you guys were missing last year will now not be missing for this season. And then AJ will ask the one knee, no knee, your hip mobility question.
Oh, yeah. So, the core of the team, we know where the ceiling is. But one of the things that I've learned, during my years in baseball is, like, if you're trying to chase a feeling or some sort of result from the past, it never works out. Like, when it comes to hitting, it's like, if you're trying to feel like you did 2 years ago, that's never going to work. Like, you have to figure out what works now. So I think part of it is, for us to be willing to, like, move forward and say, okay, like, what's going to make us successful now, instead of like, oh, well, what was it like when we won the World Series? I think just having, like, a little bit of a more progressive mindset in terms of that aspect can really help us. And then plus the new additions, they're Nimmo and Jansen and Gore, those guys are all fantastic players. So I'm excited.
That was my question. How good can this rotation be? You're a guy that is going to get to catch him. Now you have Mackenzie Gore, you have DeGrom, you have Evaldi. And that's a good 1, 2, 3 to start. Yeah,
I mean, the starting rotation pitched fantastically last year, and I don't see why we can't do it again. The arms are there, so I think definitely, especially the guys taking the lead from DeGrom and Evo. Those two guys are such great role models for younger guys to go off of. That we really have great leadership in that aspect.
Do you feel like Globe Life? It's Globe Life Park, right? I'm blanking. I think it's Globe Life. Do you feel like it is a pitcher's haven?
I mean, you can look at the numbers. It was like,
I know the numbers. Yeah. I can look at the numbers. You hit there and pitched and caught games there.
Yeah, I mean, it's you got to have some juice to get it out to the middle of the field there for sure. But I mean, it's like any other park. If you pull the ball in the air, it's going to go out. So it's just, it's maybe not as easy as Dodger Stadium to hit the ball out to dead center.
Oh, crap. Sorry, I thought you were going. Higgy, what about the bullpen? Talk to me about the bullpen. Where can the bullpen improve? What do you guys need to do to make this bullpen? Because the pitching was good. The hitting was up and down, right, to say the least. But what about the bullpen? The bullpen is the one thing, That when I talk to Ranger fans, they say, "Gosh, if we could just figure out the bullpen, we'd be so good." So what do you got on the bullpen, and how can you and Danny Jansen help fix out there?
Yeah, I mean, last year, I think our bullpen performed solidly. We just kind of had like a little bit of uncertainty in the closer role. We kind of had a few guys jumping in and out of it. Last year I guess there wasn't really like a true closer, and I think we got some guys coming back. We got Marty, we got Bob Garcia, and we got some young guys too that can really step into those important roles. And we're just going to have to see how it shakes out. But I think everybody needs to be mentally prepared to take on that big role.
I got one more from the lineup. I can look at the numbers, but you have to tell me what happened. Why couldn't you guys hit a fastball? I've watched you hit so many fastballs your entire life. You guys brought in Jock Peterson, who hits tons of fastballs, and he started out like one for Erik Kratz. Like, it just seemed like the numbers said you guys couldn't catch up to the four-seam fastball. Was it a visual? Was it how you guys were maybe, training off the machine? What do you think it was? What can you put your finger on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly why that happened, but it was something that I was noticing going down the stretch as well. I was like, I'm constantly, watching the game. It's like, man, we're really having a tough time with four-seam fastballs anytime we face, like a Hunter Brown or, somebody with a really good four-seamer. We would struggle. So me personally, I like to do a good amount of velo training with the big hack attack machine. I'm kind of a believer that if you don't ever train doing it at a similar intensity, I think it's hard to really get better at something. So, I'm always like the over trainer, where it's like, if I need work on a slider, I'm going to make it the nastiest slider ever, so it looks easy in the game. Not to say I'm the greatest hitter on earth, but I definitely think that, this year we're going to be more intentional about making sure that we kind of correct some of those glaring faults that we had last year.
All right, let's go back to my original comment when you figured out the headphone situation. How do you frame so well if you're not on one knee? Because that's all we hear is you got to be on one knee. And I think you might be the only guy that catches on 2 feet the entire time left in baseball. So how do you do it? Do you have great hips? What's the secret?
Well, I'll admit to you, I started going with the left knee down with nobody on, less than 2 strikes. Because it is like more comfortable to get lower. You're a little more stable, but with runners on, if I have to block and throw, I'm on 2 feet. So I think it comes down to ankle mobility. If you want to get low in a 2-footed stance, that's kind of the big thing. It's not really the hips, it's the ankles. And then, I mean, you also got to find a way to be stable too. So it's kind of a funky position, but it's just how I've always done it. And like me putting my right knee down is I'm just really, really bad that way and really uncomfortable. And I do not feel good about, possibly with a runner on, like tying run on third base, needing to keep the ball from going to the backstop. I'm not super comfortable about going with the right knee down.
Wait, Higgy, why? Why are you not? Is there any difference in value with a runner on third and scoring than there is with a runner on? Like explain that to me, because I feel like there's a lot of people that, and Higgy's smiling for everybody who's listening to the podcast and not watching it, but how do you butt up against, or how do you talk to the people who are like, no, you got to be on one knee because you could get a strike in that spot, and you're saying, no, I don't want the run to score if something goes awry.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the game's still played by human beings, I think you have to take the human element into it, and you have to leverage what's important at the time. So obviously, you want to steal as many strikes as possible because that's going to help you win games, and it's going to make your pitchers pitch better and go deeper into games, and that'll help you long term as well. But there's moments where certain things are more important than others, and it's important just not to lose sight of that, because in a game like baseball where it's so it's such a complex game, and it's played by human beings. It's very unpredictable. You can't just push all your chips in one basket of I'm gonna sell out to this one way of thinking and never give the other side a thought.
Does it irritate you when you see it done the other way or talked about the other way, where it's like, oh, well, it's okay that the ball got away in that situation? And not saying if you were on 2 feet or that catcher was on 2 feet that it would have been blocked. Are you willing to have those arguments and conversations for the betterment of not just your career, but anybody that's talking to you's career?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of for my career, I take ownership of my own career. I'm gonna do things the way that I think that they should be done. I'm gonna make important decisions on my own terms without letting outside factors influence me in ways that I shouldn't be influenced. So I've always kind of tried to keep the mindset of if I'm going to make mistakes, I'm going to do it on my terms and I'm going to own it. And basically, I don't really care if you're coming from the front office and you're telling me that to do something that doesn't make a lot of baseball sense. I'm going to do things the way that I truly believe that they should be done. And I think as far as trying to change somebody else's mindset, I think from a leadership standpoint from the top, I think you gotta just try to stack your chips on people who understand that, how valuable the analytics side of the game is, and then also how important the human element is, and just finding a balance between the two.
Higgy, let's talk about spring training. Playmakers Classics coming up. I'm going to be there. Are you going to be on stage? Are you going to sing? Are you going to dance? What's your connection? Oh, guitar. Okay. You're going to play a guitar? Maybe Bronson Arroyo will come up there and sing. I don't know. Well, what's your connection, and why is the Playmakers Classic so special to you?
Yeah, so I'll be there. I don't know about playing guitar, but
congratulations! I just nominated you.
Thanks. No, it's such a great event because it gets everyone together, and the Players Trust kind of promotes all of our charitable interests and allows kind of us to get the word out and hopefully just inspire other people to also participate in some of those charitable interests, whether they're their own interests or our interests. And I think it's such a great thing that that we do. It's so helpful for us to they've helped me a ton in all of my the charitable stuff I do with the Special Operations Warrior Foundation or the Urban Youth Academy or whatever. So I'm really grateful for them.
Can you just say what your two charities are? Because some people don't know that you played for RBI, Compton RBI? Yes.
I'm an Urban Youth Academy graduate.
Yes, yes. out of which Urban Youth Academy?
Compton, yeah.
Yeah, straight out of Compton.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. They were awesome to me. I'm not exactly an urban youth, but they were awesome, and they provided me the same level of coaching and whatever that they would provide anybody. So, I didn't need to have all those services provided to me, but I'm definitely very grateful. And I think it's something that's really good for anybody who is in the inner cities or can't afford to all the, costs involved with playing baseball as a kid.
And what's your charity? What's the main charity besides the Urban Youth?
Special Operations Warrior Foundation.
And where can do you have a website or something that we could just mention?
I think it's specialops.org. I believe that's it. You could double check me on that, but they help out families and children of fallen special operations soldiers, and both my grandfathers fought in the United States military, and so I have a really healthy appreciation for our military, and also the guys who especially our special operations troops, because they are the people who are willing to just push to that level that I know that I wouldn't be willing to sign up for that. The amount of risk and just everything that they give to our country is so great. It's unfathomable. So I just try to give back to that community.
That's why the Players Trust, that's why the Playmakers Classic is so important, because it raises money for your group, the Special Operations, and it is specialoperations.org. So good job remembering.
No, Special
that.
Ops. Special Ops.
I'm sorry, Special Ops, specialops.org. See, I screwed it up. So that's my fault.
That's what I'm here.
That's why Scotty's here. Last one from me. You've changed since you've made the big leagues, okay? Because you've made a lot of money. Can you tell the story of how many times, or one of the more memorable times, that you drove from the Pacific Northwest all the way down to Tampa because it was cheaper and you didn't have to ship your car, you didn't have to fly? When you didn't have the money, can you tell any good stories from your drive from all the way up in the area you live? I'm not going to say where you live, Pacific Northwest, down to Tampa, which you don't have to do anymore. You're almost private jet to Arizona now.
No. No, when I was driving, that was more when I was living with my parents in Huntington Beach, obviously to save money. So I think the most memorable time, I was on some sort of like low carb kick, and we were driving from Huntington Beach to Tampa, and I was like only eating almonds and like cheese and beef jerky. And like 2 days after we got to Tampa, I had a meal and I was just like, oh my God, my stomach is killing me. And it hurt so bad for the next like 10 hours. And I even took a laxative and it like nothing happened, but it hurt so bad I had to go to the hospital, and I got constipated from the drive because I was eating all this stuff that like has no moisture in it. So it formed like a brick in my intestines.
Whoa.
I think about that story way too often. When I'm driving and figuring out what snacks I want to bring, I think about Kyle Higashioka, and I do not get the Wawa meat and cheese snack when I stop. I'm going just regular food. Higgy got constipated and didn't poop for days at spring training.
That's dangerous.
No more gas station nuts and cheese. That's for sure.
You guys fought hard to get the bougie clubhouse food, so you take advantage of that now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, good. That's a good note for everyone. And don't use the code FOUL at Wawa for that product. Higgy, thanks for joining us, dude. This was great. We really appreciate the time, and we covered a lot. So thanks again, and we'll see you in spring training.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yes, same here. That's Kyle Higashioka from the Rangers. Be right back. All right, we're back. Let's go over some BetMGM futures, and we'll spin the wheel, and we will land on an over-under. And Kratz, I bet it's going to be in the mid-80s. Oh, it is. It's the Brewers. 84.5 wins. They had 97 wins last year. AJ, do you think they're going to drop off by 12 games? Even if they do, you'd still hit on your over. What about 13 games?
You know why they did this? They did this because we have this conversation all the time about the Brewers. So normally I would say under, just because, they're due for a fall off. They've traded Freddie Peralta. They've lost this, they've lost that. But you know what? Screw it. I'm going over because they go over every year. So I'm just going to say over just to make Kratz happy, even though I really think they are due to maybe fall off a little bit. I love Murph. I love everything about Matt Arnold. I love the Brewers organization, the way they do things. I'm going over just because I don't want to hear from Brewer fans when they do it again.
It's a much easier over now because it was, I think, at 86.5 or even 87 before they traded Freddie Peralta. So they believed in it. I don't think Freddie Peralta is a 3-win pitcher. I think it's not direct correlation. If you would have said maybe 1 or 2, so I'm still believing in the over. And that's not Homer in me, because I'm going to make a bold statement and say they might not make the playoffs. But I think they will be over 84 wins.
Really? So you think they'll win 85 or 86? I mean, once you start getting to the high 80s, you're pretty much a lock these days.
I think they're rated to 86, 87, where they originally had them. Because I think a lot of, not saying this about Freddie, I think a lot of their value from pitching is found in the fact that they have good pitchers, but that their defense really, really does a good job of optimizing the most outs above average at different positions than other teams do without having that Nolan Arenado person. I get it. Bryce Durang is legitimately a shortstop playing second base. And there's a lot of value. You saw that with the Guardians. They found a lot of value in Andres Gimenez playing second base for years. Now he's going to play shortstop for the Blue Jays. So there's different things that the Brewers do that I think helps their pitching, and I still think that's just how you win. Base running and defense are core aspects to being able to win games besides hitting home runs and pitchers striking everybody out.
83 wins got you a playoff spot last year.
I'm just saying,
you
could
think
look different in the
gets you
National
in?
League. I think 86, I think there's a chance 86 doesn't get you in.
Okay.
Because the teams at the top have improved. And the middle tier teams, I think, have gone lower. So I think there's going to be a disparaging difference, and there could be a chance that you don't have that collapse like the Mets had and the Reds get in.
We've had so many over-unders we've gone over in the mid-80s. Are we hitting enough unders?
Well, the teams you've given us so far have all been good teams. Give me the Marlins. Give me some teams that I can go under on. Huh? Yeah. Give me some teams I can go under on. I'm happy to go under.
We're going to start digging for unders for you.
Okay.
I mean,
give me the White Sox at 85. I'll go under.
Well, no, not at the mid-80s. We're just going to put up.
You said they're all mid-80s. Give me teams I can pick the under on, Scott.
I'm just saying, on the mid-80s teams,
manipulating it.
The legit mid-80s teams that are placed BetMGM
I think
odds.
the Brewers aren't going to win 85 games, but I'm saying over just so fans leave me alone.
Well, that's not how the game works.
I think that's pretty much how you play the game.
It's not.
That is playing the game.
That is playing the game, but that's not really playing the game. I mean, you're not throwing cash down on the Brewers to win 85 games, are you?
How do you know? I'm not telling you what I do with my money. It's none of your business. I don't care what you do with your money.
That's what we do this segment every day.
That's what this segment's about.
I know, and I just said.
I think it's safe to say this, AJ, since we've disagreed on everything today.
You have bad opinions. You know what they say.
Sure. Disagree on that. But I would say when we pick our 3 or 5 locks heading into the season, and we usually pick regular season win totals, could be playoff appearances, whatever, right? We've done that.
Mm-hmm.
It's safe to say that the Brewers will not be on your list either way. This is not a high confidence meter for you.
No, this is a very low confidence.
Yeah. See,
Yes.
I just want to make sure we keep doing that because we go over so many futures. And the key is we are not placing bets on every future. We are telling you which one we really like and why, or if it's close, we're telling you why. So maybe you feel really good about a team and then we feel okay and then you feel better about that pick, or we both feel great about something, which rarely happens these days, and then feel a little bit more comfortable that way. My point is, Kratz, I think I've done this with at least half of our over-unders. I don't love them, and you leave them alone. You just pick a few that you like, and then you follow those. It's almost like a fantasy baseball team that you put together for the year, right? You've got your favorite team, and then for me, I enjoy this aspect. I'll pick a few horses, and I try and usually do, if I'm doing 3, which is my average on this, I'll take 2 overs and an under, and then I follow it all year like a horse race. That's all I have.
Great. What's your over-under?
People.
What's your vector, Victor?
I'm not touching this one, but I am usually the guy. I picked the Brewers to win the division last year, and I yes I did. Last second,
I
thought that was Kratz.
No, I picked the Reds last year.
You picked the Reds. I picked the Brewers, and my reason why I don't remember if I had the Cubs or the Reds. I think I had the Cubs. And last second, when we actually submitted our picks, I went Brewers. And my explanation was, I don't see it, but they're going to do it.
See?
That's confident. That's confident.
Thank you. But I felt like somehow they were still going to pull it off. I guess the only thing I was looking at was, is this division that good? And I think last year we learned, not really. I mean, it was okay. The Brewers were great. And then the rest of the teams were either okay or terrible. Is the division that much better? The Cubs are better for sure. I like the offseason they've had. I think they're going to be a real threat. You lose Freddie P. You add Edward Cabrera. I'm saying the Brewers lose Freddie P. You add Edward Cabrera. You remade your bullpen. That was already pretty good, but I think that they made some pretty serious additions that will help them. And then, of course, the Alex Bregman signing. The Cubs should be a better team this coming season. Pirates should be a little bit better. Reds probably the same.
Should be better.
I don't know.
Cardinals
will the Reds be better?
Not be better.
Cardinals are going to be way worse.
I just don't see a 97 win. Listen, I think the Brewers are great. We love Pat Murphy. I just don't know that they win 97 games again.
No chance. I mean, I'm taking the under on that one, but 84.5 to 97. It's a big gap. I think I would not be surprised if they win in the high 80s. I don't think most people would be surprised. Brandon Woodruff might have a year.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they win in the high 80s. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 500.
Me too. That's where they stand.
That's what a swing that they could have. Let's say they lose somebody to injury. God forbid they lose somebody. And I know, Churio or Yelich or, whoever you want to, William Contreras. They lose somebody that is like, they can't really figure out a way to make up for their loss, then you could see them really falling off, but then you could see everything comes together again and I'm winning 88 and 89 games. So it's I don't know. They're the one team that has probably, for me, bigger swings than almost anybody else.
And as crazy as it is, that's only like a 6 or 7 game swing, right? You're saying I could see them being 500. That's 81 wins. We're talking about, can they get to 87 or 88 wins? It's close. Yeah. That's how the game works. Okay. Let's tell everybody how they can do a little damage right now if they're not looking at baseball. Any sport odds boost token. To use it, add a wager made up of bets from any sport to your bet slip. Activate the token. If you win your wager made with the token, you get extra winnings in unrestricted bonus dollars. Gambling problem or concern, there's help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. There's a lot to promote today. Do you guys know who is joining Dodgers territory at 3:30 Eastern time, 12:30 Pacific today?
Andrew Friedman.
Andrew Friedman.
Yeah, it's a good one. Alana, Katie, and Clint will talk to Andrew about a successful offseason. Offseason doesn't mean you win a World Series, but it has meant that lately for the Dodgers. Kyle Tucker, Edwin Diaz. I'm sure they'll ask about Kike. And we'll see what else. So make sure you check that show out. It'll be live, not at its usual time, 3:30 Eastern time live on the Dodgers Territory YouTube channel. I expect a big audience for that one. Also on tomorrow's show, Ken Rosenthal, new San Francisco Giant Harrison Bader, and new Pittsburgh Pirate Ryan O'Hearn. Almost everybody that switched teams this offseason has ended up on the show, and I feel very accomplished for that with our entire team teaming up to get those guys on the show.
Working. I had to wear my Pirates spring training hat my BP hat from 2016. Jake Mangum's on. Why not?
Might have to double dip and wear it for Ryan O'Hearn tomorrow. See you then.